Hey everybody, my name's Natalie and welcome to episode 1 of Personatalie Presents. Today we have our first special guest, Khaja. So she is avid in investments, real estate, and advocacy. She's also my bestie. Today we're going to talk about her advocacy project, Love Your Genes for Huntington's Disease. So welcome, Carly. How about we start out with what is Huntington's disease?
Huntington's disease is a combination of ALS, Parkinson's disease, schizophrenia, and Alzheimer's, all merged into one disease. Yes, that's a lot. So what I decided to do was, because I've watched my mom and siblings struggle with this illness, and I have it as well, I decided, okay, so I want to do something, I want to be a positive change for the world, because I didn't necessarily have the most positive example of what the disease looks like. So it's like, okay, so what can I do? I'm going to find a cure. Well, I can't find a cure. That's too big of a goal. So I was like, okay, well, what other things can I do to achieve that massive goal of finding a cure?
Right.
Well, I can chip away using things like spinal taps, doing like events to raise money, like just trying to raise awareness. So that's where Love Your Genes started, and that was about 9 years ago. So it's exciting. It's coming on 9 years.
It's almost been a decade. Why
I
are we
know.
so old?
I know.
Huntington's disease, it runs in your genetics,
Yes,
right? So
exactly.
it's a gene inside you
Yes.
that does something and then makes you have this weird thing that has 4 of like the worst diseases of all time
Exactly.
combined into one,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And that is why it is called Love Your Genes. So how did that come about, like loving your genes?
So for me, loving my genes, I wanted to be a positive influence for the people in my life, my family members and stuff like that, but also, like, it's not necessarily just about Huntington's disease. It could be something that somebody's dealing with. It could be cancer, not necessarily.
So a gene is like a part of you.
Yeah.
And so like if you're diagnosed with something and it's something that you can't change, but you can love it anyway.
Yes, exactly.
It might not be the most positive thing.
Yeah.
It might be something that, even like in my family, there's depression and
Yes,
things like
exactly.
that. And so it's a matter of like finding a way to love it anyway and make the best of it.
Yes.
Just like when you have your favorite pair of jeans,
Exactly.
right? And there's a rip in them, you're like, yeah, I think I'm still gonna wear them though. Like how many rips do you have in your jeans?
I have so many!
Right? It's a play on words. Okay. Perfect. So Huntington's disease we've already covered. It's basically a mixture of
ALS, Parkinson's disease, schizophrenia, and Alzheimer's.
Okay, so now how does it start? So someone gets a call, you have the gene that produces Huntington's disease, then what?
So, well, it's actually a longer process because you actually have to be mentally able to accept the information. So it's a series of exams, and then it's a blood test, and then we find out, okay, so are you sure you're ready to accept this information? And as soon as they ripped off that Band-Aid, well, I have a neurologist. I have they give me people, social workers and stuff like that to talk to deal with, finding out that you have it. And so they give you all of these people, but I was living in Northern Ontario, so it's actually unable to do a lot of the stuff because they only come to Northern Ontario twice a year, if that. And I see my neurologist like 4 times a year instead. So coming to the south has definitely changed that for me.
Okay.
So I was living in Northern Ontario and I realized, you know what, like I can't do a lot of like I mentioned earlier, I can't do a lot of the things that I wanted to do and be the part of the change. Yes, I was doing things like I was, speaking at events, and I was doing things like bowling events and doing things like that, but I couldn't like studies. So that's where I really wanted to put my energy in. And so when I realized that I had Huntington's disease, I call it HD. HD stands for Huntington's disease, but I call it my little high definition superpower because I realized I saw my life in HD. I'm like, high definition, okay, I need to move. I need to figure out how to be on these studies. I need to figure out what am I going to do for finances, how I'm going to put myself in a home if I need to. Those types of things were going through my mind. So coming to the south, I called a top real estate agent. I'm like, I'm looking for I want to pick your brain. I want to be in the south. And as soon as I decided I was moving, I got the job, I got the place. I called my neurologist, hey, I moved in. Now he could put me on all of these studies. But I'm doing 11 spinal taps, So I've done 10 and I have my 11th one on Wednesday. So that I'm excited for.
So why would a spinal tap contribute to the science and that sort of thing? So what does a spinal tap do to help?
It's actually, so it's changed a lot actually over the course of the 10 years. At first they were starting just to collect the data, and they're like, you know what, like because I've been doing this for 10 years, so they're like, okay, we want to track every part of it, and it's perfect because they saw from when I didn't have symptoms, and then eventually I do have symptoms. But what the actual spinal fluid tap does is it removes the spinal fluid from the spine. It's like tapping a tree.
Okay, like when you're getting maple syrup from the tree.
Exactly.
Except the tree is your spine. Okay, so they go into your spine, they extract the fluid, and then in that fluid is the gene that produces Huntington's disease, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So with each amount, so this is why it's good for me to have 10 years background in this, because they're able to track, okay, so she has, technically I have 49 repeats of the Huntington's gene in my brain, which my mom only had 47, my brother has 48, and my sister has 47. So like we're all around the same amount, but each repeat of that gene has Huntington's proteins that is released.
Okay.
So that spinal fluid is what cleans your brain, so they can actually track it and so they can see how progressed I am just by looking at my spinal fluid.
Okay.
So eventually, I actually just got a really good, my last neurologist appointment was recent, and apparently they're going to try doing things like gene therapy, and she says that it's good that I have so much experience because there's going to be even more spinal taps with that one. So
okay,
stay tuned.
So a spinal tap, that's painful, right? That sounds painful, but you're doing this because it's a part of contributing to potentially the science, like you're basically contributing to the science behind a cure right now.
Yes.
Okay, and one thing I think that we should mention too, this is something you mentioned earlier when we were talking, is with Huntington's disease, if someone has it and they have a child, then that child has a 50% chance right out the gate of getting Huntington's disease, right? Mm-hmm. And there's no cure whatsoever right now.
Exactly.
Basically, these symptoms start when? Like when the person's born, when they're an adult?
So actually, it depends on what. So I said I had 49 repeats of the gene. So if you have less, like let's say it's like between 35 and 40, your symptoms probably won't even come out. But because I'm in the medium range, so technically having symptoms in your late 20s, early 30s, that could be the start of the progression. But if you have things like even like 45, then you might have started in your late 30s or early 40s. So it depends on the amount of repeats that you actually have.
Okay, but see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So this is something you're not supposed to ask. But how old are you?
I'm going to be 32.
Okay. I mean, that's the thing. I feel like it's a constant, like, ticking time bomb, in a sense. And, like, that's just as somebody who has known you and found out through you that you had the gene that produced Huntington's disease. And then it was like, I was in denial. And then it was like, okay, well, she's getting older. Are things going to start progressing? We don't know. And then, so your birthday's coming up. So how does it feel when you turn a year older?
So honestly, like turning 30, and my 30s so far has been great because I'm realizing that all the work that I put in, the investment of my time with work, with relationships, with therapy, with all the stuff that I was doing with the studies, all of that is like really helping my mindset in a positive way. So like I'm excited for the new birthdays. It means that I still have time to do this stuff. And so I'm going to keep doing the things that are taking me out of my comfort zone, because at the end of the day, I'm happy, I'm in love, like I just got married last year, I got my besties, I got so many amazing things going on in my life, like I made it.
Yeah, honestly, I have to say, this girl, you know, from getting diagnosed with the gene that produces Huntington's in Northern Ontario to being like, I need to come south because this is where it's going to be happening for me with the neurologists and the spinal taps and all that stuff, to calling up one of the top real estate agents in the GTA who's an absolute icon and saying, I want to work for you, getting the job, and then being a part of all this, marrying the love of your life. And where we're filming this today is in her condo. And like, I remember coming here for the first time and seeing your balcony and seeing the view and being like, all of your hard work is so worth it and you've made it, but now what's step forward? So what's going to be happening next for you? I know you're wearing blue and I was told to wear purple. So what does that mean? And that's kind of a loaded question, but then what is next? What are we going to be doing next to be able to contribute to this Love Your Jeans cause?
Okay, so the reason I'm wearing blue and you're wearing purple. So May is Huntington's Disease Awareness Month, and you're encouraged to wear blue. Blue is for Huntington's disease, and purple is for juvenile Huntington's disease, which means it's for people who are diagnosed in their teens.
Wow.
So that's why purple and blue are like the colors. Anyway, so I joined the Toronto chapter last year.
So the Toronto chapter of the Huntington Society of Canada?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So what that means for me is that we're doing the walk again. So this year I want to make it even bigger and better because last year was such a success. So what that means is I want to get a bunch of people to come. I want to double our donations, and I want people to wear blue. I want them to wear ripped jeans, or just getting together for Huntington's disease. And it happens to be on Mother's Day, which is May 11th in the morning. And that means a lot to me because my mom passed away from Huntington's disease. So this is my way of honoring her for her life, but also for Mother's Day.
Come to Lakeshore and come to the walk. Nice. Okay, wear blue, wear ripped jeans.
Dogs are welcome.
Right? Dogs are welcome. Okay, so a couple of your ex-boyfriends can come too. Just kidding. Okay, so this walk is May 11th. On Mother's Day, and that's beautiful because this started, the whole reason we're here today is because this started because of your mom.
Yeah.
And now she has unfortunately passed away from Huntington's disease, and she fought a hard battle with it and was able to at least see and watch you be a change that you wish to see in the world and start this Love Your Jeans for Huntington's disease movement. Right? So that is the walk. So if people aren't in the GTA and they're not able to attend the walk, are there any other ways that they can participate or support or anything like that?
So you can donate, then you can just share. It's all about raising awareness at the end of the day. I have a lot of people in my HD world, but I want other people to know about it. Like I want to make it bigger and better. So yes, I do have a lot of people, but I want to go to the next demographic so that everybody else can finally realize what Huntington's disease is.
So spreading the news, talking about it. We're going to put some resources in the description. So if you want to do more research on what Huntington's disease is, I'm also going to tag Carly in all of this so you can reach out to her. You talked about HD, but can you elaborate on what it is and how you can find out if you have it? We could go on and on. This is such an intricate, complicated disease that's not talked about enough. So step 1, talk about it. Step 2, donate if you can. Step 3, look for a walk or something in your community and get the buzz going. Thank you so much for being here today in your own house. I'm really proud of you. I will be participating in the walk this year, and in honor of everyone fighting HD, I am so proud of you all for continuing to smile through it. Everyone that I've met that is working through HD seems to be really trying to enjoy life. And that's a huge eye-opener for someone like me. Live your life to the fullest, live it in HD. Right? HD. And love your jeans.
Love your jeans.
This has been episode 1 of Personatalie Presents featuring Carly Khaja. Love your jeans for Huntington's disease. Bye.
Bye.